Hello and welcome to NES Classics Revamped. In this first installment, I'm taking a look at one of my favorite games for the NES. This is Power Blade, released by Taito in 1991. Power Blade is a game that was rather late to the NES's life, and has a lot of similarities to games such as Mega Man. At the beginning of the game, you can choose between 6 stages to start out with, just like in a Mega Man game, where you can choose any stage to play as. You play as this sort of Arnold Schwarzenegger-like dude who throws around a boomerang. You have a power meter on the top of the screen, and that dictates basically not only the distance that your boomerang can be thrown, but also the strength behind it. Enemies will randomly drop power-ups, so you want to be able to collect these power-ups as you play. The great part of the game is it uses elements, from games such as Mega Man to great effect. There's great variety in the level design in the game, and the music is just absolutely fantastic as well. One major difference from a Mega Man game is that in Power Blade, you can throw your boomerang in any 8 directions. It kind of works like the Metal Blade in Mega Man 2. The Power Blade is a really great weapon, and it's so much fun to use. There are also power-ups that you can get throughout the game that will increase the range, size, and even the number of boomerangs that you can throw. So right now I have the power-up to allow me to throw 2 boomerangs. I just got the Super Boomerang, that's the reddish one. You heal your injuries by eating burgers, because, that makes sense. So right now I can throw 2 of these boomerangs. You can duck. You can't slide like in a Mega Man game, which is unfortunate, but what are you gonna do? Every stage has one of these contacts. You need to find these contacts because they'll give you a keycard that unlocks the door to the boss. Now it's kind of odd because, unlike say, a linear game like Mega Man, the stages of Power Blade are all completely non-linear and there's no map. So this means that you can find the boss door rather easily, but if you don't have the keycard, you can't get in and you can't complete the stage. There's also a timer, and the timer exists, to give you a bit of tension so you can, always know you need to move on. See, I could go to the left there, but I'm just going to go down instead. So pick that power up. Now I can throw 3 boomerangs all at once. How badass is that? Notice that your power meter depletes after you throw a boomerang. This means that your first boomerang that you throw will be the strongest, and then if you throw repeated ones, they'll be actually a bit weaker and won't travel as far. This keeps the game balanced and, your character from being way overpowered. Even so, this is it's such a badass feeling when you have, a total power-up meter and you have, your boomerangs at full strength. The great thing about Power Blade is not a particularly expensive game, so if you want to add this to your NES library, it's not that bad. The sequel, on the other hand, is much, much more expensive. It's probably one of the most expensive games for the system. Power Blade 2 came out in late 1992, making it a very rare and late NES game that not many people bought. So I have my keycard, so let's get right into it. And you know what? I'll tell you guys a secret. Power Blade 2 is not as good as Power Blade 1. So it costs like about 100-fold more than Power Blade 1 does. And it's not a better game. It's actually just kind of average. The only reason it's expensive is because it's rare. So this boss is really easy. All you have to do is just take out these honeycombs. Alright. Level complete. Alright, let's go to Sector 2. Notice that there's a lot of animation in the background, and that's something that's kind of really unique about this game. Like a Mega Man game, you can scroll to the right or left, but unlike a Mega Man game, you can actually leave the stage entirely and choose a different stage. Now, since your character is human, he can't jump super lengths, like, say, Mario or Mega Man could. He also can't survive bottomless pits or great heights. Obviously, he can't survive bottomless pits, you know, that's a video game trope, but he can't survive great heights. So when you climb down a ladder, you need to climb down the ladder. You can't just jump off the ladder and then fall, like you can with Mega Man. Now again, these levels are all completely non-linear, so you can go down that ladder, or you can keep going to the right. So when you play the game, there's a good amount of Metroid-like exploration that you have to do, and you know, that's another thing that makes the game just so much fun and so polished. You know, Power Blade doesn't have too many ideas of its own, so it's not a completely original thing. But you know what? If it's gonna copy the best games, you know, you might as well do it. So here's the Power Blade suit, and that's pretty badass. Now instead of throwing boomerangs, you can throw basically sonic booms, concussion waves, and they can be thrown in any direction. The power suit, or the power suit, will also give you the ability to be hit up to 3 times without taking any additional damage. After you take 3 hits, the power suit disappears. So that'll basically be about it for this video, so thanks for watching, guys. But just before I let you guys go, I'm going to take a look at the original version of Power Blade. This is Power Blazer, released for the Famicom in 1990. This is the game that Power Blade is based on. Now, unlike Power Blade, Power Blazer is a really rough game. This is an example where the North American version is actually an expanded, much better game than the original version. For instance, let's take a look at the same stage that we were first taking a look at, Sector 3. Notice there's a lot of stage animation, but your character is smaller, and the game is much slower, and it's far, far more difficult. It's frustratingly difficult, and the big problem here is that your boomerang that you have in this game is extremely weak, and it can only be flung in a horizontal pattern. This cannot be thrown in any direction like in Power Blade. Climbing on the ladders is also really problematic. So thank Taito for, massively improving the game when it came to North America. Well, anyway, guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the comment section down below, and once again, I'll see you guys next time.